thanks for joining us once again on today's show. My name is Peace Amewowo, and you are watching Spotlights, brought to you by Single and Married with a Life. Today, we want to inspire you once again with the story of this wonderful gentleman who is the head coordinator of Single with a Life, SWAL. He's actually been our youngest and most responsible head coordinator, as I always describe him. And so I will let him introduce himself briefly to you, and hopefully by the end of this show, you'll get to know more about him and why he qualified to be the head coordinator of SWAL. And he probably would open your eyes to understand SWAL more. So welcome on board.
Thank you.
Edem Jacob Zornu. So apparently it's only in SWAL that we call him Edem.
And in the house they call me Edem as well.
Okay, but your friends know you to be...
But my friends and at school, I'm known as Jacob.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so because this is a SWAL show, are we okay to address you as Edem?
Edem, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Right, so tell us a little bit about who you are.
Yeah. So like we said, my name is Edem Jacob Zornu. I come from a family of 4.
Okay.
I have a younger sister, Ophelia. I'm married to Theodora Vos, and now Mrs. Theodora Zornu.
Okay.
Yeah. We got married last year in October. I work with the Norwegian Veterinary Institute as a researcher in fish health and welfare in the International Center for Aquatic Animal Health Development here in Norway. I also serve in SWAL as the head coordinator. I've been doing that since August 2016. I'm also volunteering with the European Association of Fish Pathologists as their webmaster and Facebook administrator.
Really? I didn't know that one.
Yeah, we didn't know that one. It's meant to be a surprise.
Okay.
And how SWAL has prepared me also for that unexpected role.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We thank God for that. Okay, so you are warmly welcome.
Thank you.
And I hope you are ready to inspire our audience. You've got so many of your Swalians and Moalians that are watching right now, and I'm sure that they would want to know more about the Edem, the Hedi that they've always been saying on, especially on our WhatsApp group and so forth. So a big welcome, and it's a pleasure to have you here. When it comes to holidays, are you an outdoor person or an indoor, or the type that want to explore?
I used to be an indoor person, especially when I was in Ghana. Okay. But when I moved to the Western world, being an indoor person doesn't always help, because then, especially if you don't have people to interact with indoors, you might feel depressed, because also you don't get a lot of sunlight. And we all know what vitamin D does when we go out and enjoy the sunlight. So I would say I've been trying to be an outdoor person, even though I'm naturally indoor.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you like to dress up or dress down?
It depends.
Okay.
I like to keep it simple most of the time.
Okay.
But if it is a special occasion, I might come out looking very nice. I try as much as possible. I will give you a scenario.
Okay.
So we're in Zambia for a conference, and when I'm going to work on a regular day, I dress very casual. I can go to work this way. But then at the conference, I make sure every time we are supposed to go to the conference ground, I dress nicely. Sometimes I wear suits or nice African wear, and my colleagues were very impressed because they have not seen that part of me.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. If you were a musical instrument, which one would you have been?
Wow. A musical instrument.
Yeah.
I would say the bass guitar, because it adds a bit of life to whenever you are in a live band. and there's a bass. It depends on the music, but when there's a bass guitar, it adds a bit of life to the music.
Okay, so you like to add life.
Yeah.
Is that why you became a singer with a life?
Yes, of course. Without life, you are literally dead. So.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So let's get into the serious stuff. Can you share with us how your journey with SWAL started?
So my journey with SWAL started with Grace Bodo Equia. Yeah. Okay. I'm very grateful for her because I don't know how she heard of SWAL, but she introduced me 2016, somewhere in February. Okay. And when she introduced it to me, I just embraced it because I have grown up in an area where I see a lot of marriages around me, and the ones that were as young as I was, I've seen the ones that were working and the ones I think were not really working. And I'm one person that don't like to see couples argue on top of their voices, because even though I was young, I feel they could say some of the things they were saying in public, in private. So from there on, I've always desired to have a marriage that is peaceful. So when I heard of SWAL and the name Equipping Singles for Purpose and Better Marriage, it was easy to embrace. Yeah. Okay. So she introduced me and I joined that month in February 2016. Okay. I was 21 years old. Okay. I was in the first semester, level 300. Okay. I was in the University of Cape Coast studying a bachelor in Fisheries and Aquatic Sciences.
And how old are you now?
I'm 29.
Wow.
Turning 30 in April.
Hey, so you've been in SWAL for almost how many years?
9 years now.
9 years. Yeah. Okay. What has kept you in SWAL for this long?
I would say what have kept me in SWAL is how SWAL has remained consistent over the years. Yeah. Even though the WhatsApp group is not as vibrant as it used to be, the teachings, the structure of SWAL remain the same throughout the year. Yeah. You can start something very good, but it's not easy to maintain it. Okay. So that's exactly what I mean. Okay. So over the years, the vision has been sustained in a way that the structure that was in place has always remained the same. And the rules that were guiding the WhatsApp group, unlike any random WhatsApp group that you can just post random messages, the rules seem to work over the years. Okay. Even though there were diverse programs like Spotlight, even on the WhatsApp group, there were business, how do we call it?
Business talks.
Business talks, whereby Swalians starting businesses could present to members. Yeah. So there were a lot of programs that were introduced to make it diverse. Yeah. So it's not only about education and teaching, training. The vision has remained the same, which is equipping singles for purpose. Yeah. That's the foundation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Can you tell us how you became the head coordinator of SWAL?
So not too long after I joined as a member, opportunities were presented for new members to join the coordinating team. This was after about 5 months after I joined I joined SWAL as a member. During that time, we had quite a lot of turbulence in the coordinating team.
Okay, permit me to come in here to explain what he means by turbulence. We already had 2 head coordinators before he came. So the first one came, served for 6 months. Then the other one also came, served for another 6 months. So we all served for 6 months.
For 6 months.
Yeah. And initially everything was good. I mean, they added their feel to the vision. In fact, the first head coordinator was the one who opened up the door of SWAL. Okay, so he had a dream about the fact that he saw me speaking in front of a big crowd. There was a big program and I was speaking on stage and he was at the door and he was ushering people in. That was a dream he had and he shared with me. We both did not understand the dream. So he was very instrumental. He actually contacted me through Facebook because he saw our page on Facebook. So at that time I was praying to God, I need somebody to help me with this vision. I don't know how to do it by myself. And then one Sunday on my way to church, he sent me a Facebook message and said, I just came across your page. I feel impact on it and I want to help you. I remember that time I was like, Facebook, is he genuine? Is he, so I just responded. I said I'll come back to him. I spoke to my friend who is now my husband. I spoke to him and he said, give him a go, let him help and see how much he can help. So I spoke to him, he came on board, and then I gave him my number and I added him to the WhatsApp group. So initially the WhatsApp group was called Singles Forum. Yes. And all that I was doing there was posting Miles Monroe's videos about singleness, marriage, prayer, anything that I feel will inspire young people and singles. I just posted it and I asked people to watch. But when I added that guy, his name is Alvin. Immediately I added him. It's like he was the turning point for SWAL. And he said something and everybody started coming out, posting their comments. And it became like a very active group all of a sudden. I'm like, what is going on here? He just teared up the whole thing. And by the time we realized, SWAL was now very vibrant. And remember the dream he had. He was at the door ushering people in. And from the time he entered SWAL, on the WhatsApp group, we started having members joining the group. We started because the group discussions was so intensive and very interesting. So people naturally started telling their friends, oh, there's a group here, there's a lot of discussions, blah, 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 and they started joining. So I just want to, because you probably didn't know that bit. Okay, so this is also for you to learn a little bit about what happened before you came. After that, we had a first SWAL event. Which took place in 2015. You were still not on the group.
No, I was still not on the group.
And he was the one who hosted it. I couldn't go, but I hosted another event in the UK. It was November 2015. So he also did his there in Ghana. We had a lot of the singles of the WhatsApp group traveling from different places in Ghana, and they went. And then after the event, that was when things started going bad in terms of relationship-wise, accountability. Because obviously, I want you to account for what happened, money, everything to do with the event. And things didn't go on very well. So eventually, he had to step down. And then he introduced Eric. And then Eric also came, very vibrant young guy. He was helping a lot with the posters. He would design nice posters. I mean, those guys they brought some kind of touch, energy to the vision, and he took this. Something happened with him and one of the members which didn't sit well, and I suspended him for a while. I said, we need to investigate this thing, because you were a head coordinator and this is with a member, so we need to make sure that things settle properly. And I think he couldn't handle the suspension, so he left. Okay. So sometimes when people are like, oh, maybe I sacked him, I didn't sack him. I suspended him and then he left. I think you came around. I came around when Eric was
the head coordinator when I joined. And he has always been an inspiration because he hosted the event, my first SWAL event conference.
And that one I went to Ghana.
He went to Ghana.
And it went very well.
It went very well.
So all these guys, they played their role.
Exactly.
Sometimes when people have served their purpose, God has a way of taking them out of the picture. Not that they are bad or because they did something that is so terrible. Because whatever you do, there's always grace, there's always mercy that can, let you still play your role, and maybe with a little bit of guidance and correction here and there, but God had to use these situations somehow to take them out of their way because they have finished their race, at that point. I don't know if maybe later on if we will have them coming back. I don't know.
It's possible.
I don't know. But my hands are always open, because I don't have anything against them.
Yeah.
They did their work. They did their work. I mean, Eric, I like Eric so much.
There's this guy, forgotten his name.
Is it Mau?
Mau.
Yes.
He was the deputy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when Alvin left, Eric became the head coordinator.
Yeah.
Alvin was the one who brought Eric along as well. So they are friends.
Okay.
But he stayed. He didn't say, okay, because
he's gone,
so let me just go. No, he stayed. And then, so this is why I'm saying that they are not bad people.
Yeah.
It's just their purpose.
Yeah.
They've served their purpose at that point.
Yeah.
So when he left, Mau now became the deputy.
Yeah.
So that was where things were. And I think Mau too, something happened. There was all kinds of oh my God, these guys were good. I mean, Mau was the one who composed the SWAL song.
Yes, he composed the SWAL song.
So
I remember.
they did, I'm smiling because, they played their role.
Yeah.
And he was just a little bit, he's got this funny thing about him that he himself knew that it doesn't settle well with people, but I think it was just an area that he needed to improve. But he was a little older.
Yeah.
And I was so young and I'm a girl.
Yeah.
So I think they had this impression that I shouldn't be telling them do this or do that. That's the problem I think I had with them, because they were a little bit older already. And so submitting to the leader or the visionary became a problem.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I don't have any issues. So Mau also had to leave. Eric left. And then I was like, what's going on? What should I do? I can't do this alone. So then I came to the point, I said, God, we need to get a new head coordinator. And I didn't want to choose anymore because all these head coordinators, I was the one who chose them. So I said, God, we need to have another head coordinator. I'm going to throw it to the coordinators, the coordinating team, to choose who they want to lead them. And that was how everybody was saying, Edem Zornu, Edem Zornu, Edem Zornu. And I already had you in mind. But my fear was, he's so young, he's so quiet, all these coordinators, exactly, all these coordinators are older, like the likes of Elo, Linda, they were all in their 20s, like mid-20s, and you were so young, all of them were older than you.
Isaac too. I think
Isaac was the Elikem. Elikem was even far older than me. Yes. So they were all there, they were supportive, but I was having this fear that maybe they might not respect you as much as you deserve. They might not be able to support you. They probably may even be thinking, we've been here before he came.
Yes.
Why not us? So I just thought, let me throw it to them. And they all started mentioning your name. And it suited me because I already had you in mind. So I thought that was the voice of the people. Sometimes can be the voice of God. So I allowed it, and here we are. So that was the chaotic.
And all this happened within the space of about 3 months.
Yeah, it happened so quick. It happened so quick. So after the event, that was when there was this big change, because a lot of people left. And when I prayed into it, the Lord said to me that He was sifting the coordinating team. He was sifting them, and I was so scared. I was like, God, I hope you're not going to sift out Edem. I hope you're not sifting out Elon. I hope you're not sifting out Blessing. I know, all the people that I felt were very effective and helping so much. I was now scared. And God did His own sifting, and by the end of the sifting, we had a very strong team that you came to lead. So you got a history.
Yes.
Okay. Good. I'm sure many Swalians didn't know this. Getting to know this is good. It's part of our history. So back to you. How does it feel like to be a head coordinator?
To be honest, when I first became the head coordinator, I was not even certain in myself if I would be able to deliver. Because like you were saying, I was young. So in the beginning, I was a little bit naive, but then I took a lot of inspiration from Eric.
Right.
Because he was the head coordinator before I took over. But outside the walls of SWAL, when I'm traveling or I'm in church or I'm in school, wherever I am, I feel like people are looking at me.
Right.
That is the head coordinator of SWAL. Is he going to behave well? How does yeah? It feels like somebody is watching me to see how I behave.
Right.
So that alone was an inspiration to be well behaved in society.
Yeah. Right.
And it's helped because at that young age there are lots of peer pressure, but that kind of responsibility would automatically put you in check.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That was the most significant change, I would say. That happened to me when I became the economic. It doesn't matter where I am, whether in Cape Coast, Japan,
even though the people don't know you,
in my mind,
somebody's watching me.
Yeah.
Right. That's very inspiring.
Yeah.
Because to whom much is given, much is required.
Yeah.
So if you've got a role right now as a young person, you can do it if you focus. And also you have to understand that it's not just the glamour of the title that you hold. It's about the responsibilities that comes with it. And one of it is that you need to be an exemplary life for people. So people will be watching you, whatever you do. If you do something wrong, it's going to go against whatever position that you are holding. It's going to tarnish the reputation of the position. So I hope this would inspire them, the young people that are leaders, to know that somebody's watching you. Yeah. Okay, so there are many people who have a lot of misconceptions about SWAL. For example, when they hear single with a life, they are like, oh, why do you want to be single for the rest of your life? Okay, so they don't get the whole thing about single with a life. As a head coordinator, I believe you understand the vision better and you can explain it to your audience. So what is SWAL all about?
The foundation of SWAL is to equip singles for purpose and better marriage. If I take the purpose part, everyone has been created differently to fulfill different, responsibilities on the face of this earth. So in SWAL, the awareness is that you keep in touch with God and discover that purpose. But then again, the basics of all this is that when you wake up every day and you don't have a focus or you don't have a goal, you end up wasting the whole day. It's just like waking up from your bed today and not knowing exactly what you want to achieve. Because I believe that once you pursue those smaller goals every day, over the years they'll accumulate into into big success stories that you can share. So the SWAL vision is just advocating for young people or singles to make quality use of their time to fulfill the goal or the purpose that they have discovered. The first part that I spoke about was about effective singleness. And talking of marriage preparations, when you are young, your parents are more focused on getting you prepared for a career. But what SWAL does is to pre-inform you about what marriage is and what is expected of you in marriage. So SWAL gives you that room to equip yourself for marriage while still studying. So if I give one example, I took the marriage preparation class. And one of the things that struck me from that class is how couples are expected to be financially transparent with their spouse. So your husband should know how much you earn, your wife should know how much you earn. Because as far as I know, money can be a big issue in marriage. Because for instance, if your wife don't know how much you earn, the expenses you make, she demand things that she probably thought you could provide. But when she knows how much you earn, how much you are paying for your rent, how much you are paying for groceries, then it's easier for her to appreciate how much you are giving her at the end, or how much you share together as couples. So that was one of the things that struck me in the marriage preparations class. That marriage preparation class was hosted by CEO and the husband on the Turning Point coaching services.
Right. Okay.
So these preparations to live effectively as a single and also to prepare for marriage were all done whilst I was still studying. So before I even got married or went through the counseling before marriage, I've already been preview to the preparations that I need before I venture into marriage. But one other thing that I want to touch on is that as you are living effectively, as you have discovered your purpose, before you select your partner, you know whoever you are selecting should match the purpose you want to fulfill in life.
Right.
So if you are planning to be, I don't want to mention any career, but whatever you desire, you should make sure that the person you are going to marry agrees with you. Because where two people don't agree, it's difficult for them to live together as couples.
Right. And did you also learn this in SWAL?
I learned this in SWAL, of course.
Right. Okay.
Through the topical discussions on the WhatsApp group.
Right. Okay. It's interesting that you made this point, because there are many people, when we try to encourage them to join SWAL, they will say, I'm schooling, I'm too busy, See, your classroom education, doesn't prepare you for marriage.
Exactly.
Whatever you are doing now, whether you are learning engineering or architectural or whatever, it's not preparing you for marriage. It probably would help you. Maybe at the end you get a good job, you get some money, but it's not only the money that you need for marriage. You need all the things that he's spoken about, understanding marriage, having a mental stability, having emotional stability, knowing how to pray. These are some of the things we teach in SWAL. People become born again because they join SWAL, even Muslims. And there's a Muslim lady who joined SWAL, became born again, and is married to a pastor. Yes. So all of these things, you would have to learn how to pray, because marriage comes with all kinds of issues. Right from the wedding preparation, you will meet people that will make you know that, we don't like you, this marriage, I'm not in support of it. So you have to learn how to pray. We teach you all of this to build your spiritual capacity as well. So there are people who they finish their education, they are 35 and they don't know anything about marriage. They've never read even one book about marriage, and yet they claim they are ready for marriage. How are you ready for marriage? So come and join us. Come and join us, or just make it a point to follow all our videos. We do a lot of educational teachings that will help you as a single and even when you get married. Okay, so thank you for touching on that.
Just to add to what she said, I noticed when you are preparing for marriage and you have to go through counseling with your pastor, the maximum you could get is 3 to 6 months.
And for how many hours per session?
It depends on the availability of the pastor.
Right.
So imagine you are preparing for a life journey in 3 to 6 months. But here, SWAL prepares you daily for that long journey of your life.
And you had that.
And I had that since 21 years.
For almost 8 to 9 years. Okay. So
And one other thing I want to add was that our parents barely tell us things about marriage to prepare you. They will give you moral advice, give you general advice, but it's not specific on marriage. So
it's true.
They will only inspire you when you get married. They tell you have to do this, but it's not sufficient. You are already in it.
And when it takes some time for people's mind to be transformed. When we were younger, there are certain things our parents say to us and we didn't see the sense. But the more we kept hearing it, the more it's like every stage you get to, somebody will say it, you keep hearing it at different stages, so it began to make sense. And then your mind starts to accept it. In the same way, once you start hearing about teachings of marriage on a consistent basis, no matter how hardened your heart is, no matter the wrong mindset you have, eventually you would, somebody made a comment that has never left me. She said when she came on the WhatsApp group, she realized that anytime people post messages, they add the emojis, and the emojis are smiling emojis, and they were like, is everybody so happy on this group? Everybody's so happy. And she used to be very sad person, so she started posting. When she posts, you add the emoji, the laughing emoji. And eventually she realized
that's mental stability
and transformation. Because eventually she realized that she's also beginning to act that way, and it became part of it. So we are being inspired. Okay, so it's obvious that SWAL has helped you. Before you joined SWAL, how was your life like?
I was not praying, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. I only prayed on Sundays.
When you go to church?
I was very shy.
Okay.
And I didn't know I can't talk in public until I was the head coordinator, and I have to give that first talk in public. So SWAL gave me the opportunity to have that first public speaking experience, and it was not good. To be honest, it was not good, because the event was 2 days. So we had the first session, I think, on a Friday. Then the second session began on the next day, the Saturday. So the Friday, the opening speech that I gave, I was scared. My legs were shaking. Then on the Saturday, I told myself that you have to be confident.
Yeah.
I encouraged myself. You can do this. I went to the washroom.
You cried?
No, I didn't cry. The Saturday.
Okay.
You don't know this. I went to the washroom, look at myself in the mirror, and I told myself, you can do this.
Yeah.
I tried to encourage myself that. So I think you saw how
there was a big transformation the second day. I was like, is that Edem? Oh my God.
And the basis of this is the positive affirmation on the group.
Okay.
Declaring what you want, what you want for yourself, because our words are powerful.
Yeah.
That experience, it was revealing that you need to work on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I knew where I was going. You can't be hiding all the time. Because when I was in school, I like to sit at the back. I don't want to be at the front, talk. No. So
then now you've been placed in front of a whole audience to speak, to introduce the event.
You see, so it was an awakening call that you can't always be be behind the spotlight. There are times when they can call you at church to pray or at school to do something,
and you have to be ready.
Yeah. So we thank God for that opportunity.
Yes.
Because if I remain in that shell, I don't know how my life would have been. Yeah.
Wow.
Somebody met me recently and said, I thought you were an extrovert.
Extrovert?
I was like, me? He said, why? But you talk a lot. I'm like, oh. Then I was like, then maybe I've changed.
Yeah, you've changed. You've transformed. We thank God.
We thank God for SWAL.
Okay.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest turning points of my life was when we had the June fasting and prayers in SWAL. It was a 30-day fasting and prayers.
Yeah, that was 2019.
2019.
Okay.
I think that was the big turning point for me in SWAL.
Right.
I'm saying this because we were fasting for 30 days.
Yeah.
And 2 days into the fast, I got a response on a scholarship application that I did to study in the Netherlands. And when I was entering that fast, one of my aims was to pray into the scholarship.
Right.
Because I did it the year before and I didn't succeed. So I was trying to use that opportunity to pray into the scholarship. But just 2 days, I received the response that you have not gotten the scholarship. We are not giving you the scholarship again.
Right, and you were.
So at that point, I was like, "Hey, this 30-day fast, just 2 days. Are you going to continue?" But something dropped in my spirit, and the voice was like, "Are you trying to say that apart from the scholarship, you have nothing to pray about?"
Yeah.
Then I was like, "I'm going to continue."
Right.
So then I continued. Then after 24 days.
Wow.
Which is June 26th. In the morning, I was preparing for work. Then I I was actually, SWAL, there are things you have to do in the morning.
Yeah.
So I was trying to do certain things on the coordinators. I was trying
before
to
it goes to the main group.
Yeah, before it goes to the main group. So I was trying to, do things on WhatsApp. Then I dropped the phone on the pillow. So when I walked, the light flashed again.
Okay.
So I was like, who is that? Then I took the phone.
Yeah.
I was going to the shower. Then I took the phone. I opened. I saw there was a mail. Then the heading, looked like what I read before.
Okay.
So I was like, then I quickly opened. Then they said somebody has dropped out.
Wow.
And we would like to offer you the Orange Knowledge Program scholarship.
Wow.
I was so surprised.
Somebody dropped out. So how many people were applying for that scholarship?
To be honest, a lot of people apply.
Wow.
In Ghana alone, you can have more than 500 applicants.
Wow.
Yeah.
And somebody dropped out.
Yeah.
And they couldn't find anybody among those 500 people.
Yeah.
To offer the position to.
Somebody dropped out. It could be anyone.
Yeah, it could have been anybody.
It could have been anyone. Yeah.
But they gave it to you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I couldn't believe what I was reading. So I was literally walking with my phone like this. Then I went to my mom. My sister was not awake. I showed it to my mom. Then she was like, we thank God. We thank God. We thank God. Then my sister woke up.
Yeah.
Then she said, what is happening? And I told her, and when she read the message, she was like, Edem, congratulations.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was the big turning point.
Wow.
Because traveling to the Netherlands opened a lot of opportunities. Yeah, for me.
Yeah, because now you are an international man.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was praying for the first trip.
Yeah.
Then now I have so many trips.
Opened so many doors.
So many doors.
Now you're speaking to them, I'm like, and it's like I'm in Egypt. I'm in Zambia. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, there's 30 days fast. Even me that called for the fast. I'm still local.
Well, you are here in Norway.
Yes.
I never thought I would be in Norway.
Yes, and now you are in Norway. So when you went to Netherlands, it was more for you to do your masters, right? And then how did the transition from Netherlands to Norway took place?
Yeah, that one was another miracle. Because I was an intern with the company I'm working now.
Yeah.
So what happened was that the internship was supposed to be 6 months. And before that 6 months could end, there was a job opening.
Right.
And this internship was even virtual. So I was not in Norway. I was in the Netherlands.
Right.
They've never met me. We only talk on Zoom or Teams. So one of them sent me, this job position is open and you could look at it to see if you are interested. But then when I read, it was almost like what I was doing already as an intern. So then I applied. And by God's grace, I secured the position.
Wow.
I did an interview in October. October 10th, 2022.
Right.
At some point, I got a clue from those within that I have been given the job.
Okay.
But I was not confident because I didn't receive any letter.
Right.
But in SWAL, we do have the Monday evening prayers.
Yeah.
So there was this evening prayer you were leading with your husband. Then you ask those who were attending to put in prayer requests in the chat.
Okay.
So then I posted in the chat that I got a job, but the offer letter has delayed.
Right.
I just put it in the chat.
How long did it delay for?
It delayed for October, November, December. 3 months. Yeah.
Wow. When you were waiting.
I was waiting for 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah. So I put it in the chat. Then just about 24 hours.
Wow.
I received the letter before their Christmas break.
So within 24 hours?
Within 24. So on the Tuesday. So eventually I started the job. I don't remember if I quite started or not, but I remember in the same prayer session, but on a different occasion, your husband was like, someone is going to start a new job, and it is not your knowledge about the job that will keep you going, but how you learn to work among the people.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not about what you have learned in school, but how you manage your relationship with the people.
attitude with the people.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was before I started the job actually.
Right.
And when I started the job, I realized that I was the youngest.
Wow.
They were far, far older, and I've accumulated a lot of experiences. So obviously, it's not my knowledge, even though there are things I share with that they've not heard before. But I realized that the prophetic word that your husband gave, I personalized it.
Yeah.
I assumed that it was my word.
Yeah.
So I made sure when we are in meetings, I'm slow to speak.
Yeah.
I listen more.
Yeah.
And when I want to speak, I'm very sure about what I want to say.
Wow.
It's not that I don't want to talk, but I feel listening more is also a way to learn from their experiences. And it has been amazing so far. Yeah.
It looks like these are the people enjoying SWAL. The grace is working. Yeah. It's really, really working for you.
I was very surprised when I started work and seeing the people. Then it clicked what your husband said.
Right.
Yeah. So I make sure every time something is about to happen, whether good or bad, that word always comes to mind. Yeah.
Wow. We thank God that the grace is working for you. I remember when you told me that you got the scholarship. I was so happy. I told my husband that I'm happy that you are the one that this testimony has happened to among the coordinators. Not that I don't want them to have their open doors, but because you've so much served, I felt like it will be an inspiration for them to know that there is a reward for service. So I was so grateful to God that yes, you've proven to us that when we serve, our labor will never be in vain. So we thank God for what He's done for you.
Thank God.
And now because you came to Norway, we also decided to come to Norway to see that.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we also had opportunity to be here.
Yeah.
We've added to the number of countries that we visited because God opened this door for you. And so it's amazing. We are very happy for what God has done for you. And we believe that for every Swalian, there are so many Swalians like you who have also had their open doors. And if we sit them on this show, they will really, really share some of the amazing things that God has done for them, especially through those long fastings that we do. Some of them, it's their first time fasting for so long. There are people that they probably have never fasted before, and all of a sudden it's like 30 days without food. But they've pushed through, and amazing rewards have come as a result.
When you were talking about 30-day fasting, I think the first one I experienced, the longest fast was that 30-day fasting prayer. And what happened? I noticed that I became sharp in the spirit, because there is there is this attack that you could get if you are sleeping. You feel like somebody is suffocating you.
Yeah.
And whenever I get that, I struggle physically with whatever spirit or whatever is happening. But during that fasting and prayer, what happened? I had that experience again. And when I woke up, started praying.
Wow.
And as shy as I was, I could be shy as well, even among my family members.
Okay.
I didn't mind if my sister was in the house praying. Yeah.
And
so fasting does make you sharp.
And that thing left?
It left. I felt like I have overpowered it. Yeah.
Wow. You remember you had a problem as well when you were in UCC.
Yeah.
With your,
my leg?
With your leg.
Yeah.
You've got so many testimonies.
Yeah.
You want to share that?
So that experience, I thought I was almost going to die. Yeah. Because you remember I told you we were going to school, then I saw this woman with something on her leg. It looked like her leg was swollen, so they put some herbal medication on the leg. So then when we went to class, then I started feeling this burning sensation.
You said you were looking at the woman.
I was looking at the woman, she was also looking at me. But I don't know what happened when we were trying to have that facial connection. And when I went for class, I started having this burning sensation in the left, and later on it came to the right. Then I started going lame. You saw me during the conference, I was looking.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I was still courting with Theodora. And I thought she she's probably going to say, this guy, I'm going to leave him on the way he is. You know, okay. But she was there. She was even more laughing. I was surprised.
So you told me about it, and I said to you that this is probably a demonic transfer.
And I remember you called me praying.
Yeah.
You asked me to buy some oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
anointing oil. Yeah. Then we prayed over on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then during that time too, they said you had diabetes.
Exactly.
Even though he was really like that.
Yeah, they said I have diabetes. That is also one part of the. So it's like starting from burning sensation. Doctors don't know what was happening.
Yeah.
They ran tests. Then they said I have diabetes, and we were all surprised because none of my family members, as far as I know, had diabetes.
Yeah.
So we had to test again in a different hospital. Then they said it's not diabetes. So the whole thing, as at now, if I think about it,
it was a demonic transfer.
I think just don't understand.
The person probably thought when you were looking at her, maybe you despised her or something. So it's like, okay, there you go, receive some, you know. But we thank God for the prayers. You know, God showed us mercy.
Yes.
Because we couldn't have lost our head coordinator. No, so we thank God. There's a lot of testimonies.
It was very scary. I think one of the scariest moments of my life. Yeah.
Thank God for the victory. Yeah, thank God. You just mentioned how you were scared that your girlfriend would leave you at that time. And I remember when you joined SWAL, I think one of the things that attracted you to me was you used to ask me a lot of questions. You would text me and say, when you are in a relationship, I think I should have checked some of your messages. I probably should have still have them. How to behave in a relationship. Wow. You know, if your girlfriend does this, what should you do? You know, you asked me a lot of questions about your relationship.
Yeah.
And I asked you if you're in a relationship or not, and you said, you got a friend that you are studying, blah, blah, blah. And this lady is now
my wife.
Your wife.
Yeah. Yes.
So when did you get married?
I got married last year in October 2023.
Okay.
Yeah. October 14th, to be precise.
So our very young Edem, who joined SWAL at 21 years, is now a married man. Yeah. Wow. How does it feel to be married? And how did you plan your wedding? Because you were still in Norway when you got married. How did you plan your wedding while still abroad?
It was not easy. Yeah. But one of the things that we prayed for was that God should connect us with the right people. Yeah. Because obviously I'm not there. So Theodora was the one supposed to make the rounds. Yeah. But God just connected us with the right people. My childhood friend, I have not met in a very long time. They left Japan. You've been to Japan before. Yeah. They left Japan when he was barely 10 years old. Then all of a sudden my sister connected me to him. He said, oh, he's a fashion designer now and he could help sew your things. The guy has been helping his friends to plan weddings without charging anything. Yeah. And he sent me an Excel sheet with all the preparations. And he said it was a list that he prepared for one of his cousins. Then later on, we also needed gown, obviously, for Theodora. Then we started asking around. But then I saw one profile on Instagram. Then, you know, when something sits well with you in the spirit, I saw the woman, I'm like, she's going to be helpful. But I didn't want to decide for Theodora. So I sent her about 3 accounts and I asked her to follow up on them to find out how much a gown is sewn or the style. She had the style. Then when she came back, she was like, I'm going with this one.
And that was the same woman?
It was the same woman.
Wow.
And this woman, we are like friends now.
Wow.
Yeah. Even when we took the gown, she even calls how are we faring, how the program is going. Yeah. It's almost like she's known us before. Yeah.
Thank God. All these things are the blessings of the Lord.
Yeah.
And the reward of service.
Yes.
Yes. So enjoy it. Yeah. So your wife, Theodora, can you tell us a little about her?
Yeah, so my wife also comes from a family of 4. Okay. But yeah, she doesn't have any brother. So I'm her only big brother. She has a younger sister.
Okay.
So she's the firstborn. I'm also the firstborn.
Okay, so you've got a lot of similarities.
Okay. She works with the Ghana Education Service, and she's a SWALian. I brought her to SWAL.
Okay, so how long was she also in SWAL before you guys got married?
It's a difficult one. But I think she joined not long after I was there.
Okay.
Because we started dating somewhere in 2016 in January.
Okay.
And I joined SWAL in February 2016. So she joined before the event. I remember vividly.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, she joined before the event.
So she too have been in SWAL for so long.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get to meet her in part 2 of this interview. Yeah. I've met both of you. I mean, when I came to Ghana in 2016, I met both of you. You were very small. Like, yeah. I mean, when I look at her now, she's put up so much. She's grown, and you've all grown. You know, we thank God. I think you are the only coordinator in SWAL that I've met your parents.
Wow.
I've been to your house in Ghana, and I'm now also in your house in Norway.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so
I told my dad you are here in Norway with your husband, and he remembered you vividly.
We thank God.
Yeah.
We thank God. How was your first sex? I know I'm not supposed to, this is like privacy, but
no, it's good you ask.
Okay.
Because there's something happened that even my parents didn't know on that first night.
Right.
I fell sick.
Really?
Right after the wedding.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And a lot more happened. Okay. My best man lost their brother.
Oh.
That night.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. My best man. Yeah. We left the reception at tournament and my wife and I were eating dinner. Then he called me. Then I was like, Kofi doesn't know I'm on honeymoon.
Yeah.
So I was making a joke out of it. Then he called again. Then I knew something must be happening because it was around 11 p.m. And for him to be calling me at that hour, I thought something was not right. So I called him back. Then he told me James is dead.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about that experience. I can just imagine it would just ruin.
Yeah, it ruined like the whole night.
Yeah.
Because we drove to the hospital. I told him not to ride his motorbike, so we'll go and pick him. So we drove to pick him. Then I started feeling cold. It actually started inside the hotel because of the aircon. I told my wife, I feel chilly, like it's chilly inside. Then she was like, hey, you that you like cold like this, why are you feeling chilly? So on our way to the hospital, we had to reduce the air conditioner in the car. So the whole night,
nothing happened.
Already we were tired, so we were not even planning.
There was no show.
No show. Then on Sunday, we still have to go to church, Thanksgiving church. So we woke up. But I didn't want to tell my parents because James is just living next door, and when I told them I'm sick, it's like
and then
they will panic. So I didn't tell them. So after church, we went quietly to the clinic. Then they gave me injection.
I don't like injections at all.
Oh my God. So then I started malaria medication before the first sex actually happened. I don't remember if it was that night or...
So how was this first sex actually? You're trying to beat about the bush.
Imagine somebody with malaria trying to have sex. I mean, it was nice because we're all naive and trying to learn at the same time, understand each other's body. Right. Yeah.
Okay. So after that, the experience has been better.
Yeah, it has been better. Yeah.
And it's going to get better.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yes, it's gonna get better. Trust me, it's gonna get better. Very, very better. Yeah. And you are here without a wife. How does it feel like leaving your wife behind? I mean, the whole thing about distance marriage. What are the challenges?
Obviously, the leaving her behind was difficult because when I started working here, my job has taken me to Ghana a number of times. Okay. And I left, but the emotions were not the same compared to when I got married. Yeah, but now because now
you are married.
You are married. Yeah. So we were all very emotional. Right. Yeah. And even though I knew we would be together anytime soon. Yeah. But for her, it was more difficult. So I had to console her
Was she crying?
She cried. Yeah. I felt very bad, but I was very confident that we were going to be together soon.
Okay.
Talking of the challenges,
I like them. Okay.
You know, yeah. If you want sex, you can have it.
Yeah.
We only fantasize on the phone and be like, if we meet, we'll do that. We'll do. So that is also, I would say, you kind of create some sexual tension.
Yeah.
That when you meet, you are going to do that. But your helper is not there, so you have to things you have to do at home together. You do alone. Sometimes we do things on the phone. I'm cooking, she's cooking.
Okay.
So that is how we compromise.
Right.
But that physical connection is very important.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So how soon are you thinking of?
I'm hoping that in the next 1 or 2 months from now.
Yeah, she'll be joining. Okay. The next time we see you, it will be both of you together.
Yes.
Okay. That would be lovely. I can't wait to see you guys. What do you like or dislike about Norway?
Yeah. So one of the things that I like about Norway is the nature here.
Okay.
It can look very beautiful in the summer.
Okay.
And also in the winter, it looks nice, especially when you travel. You go on a road trip and you see the mountains covered with snow. It looks very nice.
Okay. Nice.
And one of the things that I also like is that the language is not too far from English.
Okay, so it's not difficult to learn.
It's not difficult to learn.
Right.
And that is one of the things that I like more compared to Dutch.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe when I was in the Netherlands as a student, I was too busy to learn Dutch. But here I'm more inspired just by hearing, the tonation sounding like English.
Yeah.
So that is also one thing I like.
Okay.
But talking of the dislikes, the people can be a bit reserved.
Okay.
So if you don't share a hobby or you don't share an activity together, it's difficult to have friends.
Right.
So as at now, the closest friends I have are those I already knew in Ghana.
Right.
And they're also living here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So I've not got a typical Norwegian friend.
I see.
Yeah.
So if you're coming here to work or to school, you've got to really brave up and make sure that you have something that will attract you to the Norwegian people. If not, you probably end up being bored. Yeah. Am I correct to say that?
No, this you are right.
Okay. What has been your challenge serving the SWAL vision so far?
One of the greatest challenges I've had is time.
Okay.
When I joined SWAL, I was 21. I had less responsibilities. So over the years, responsibilities keep increasing.
Yeah.
So that has been the greatest challenge, trying to find time to do some of the things that I used to do, and some of the things that I want to do, I still have to, try to make time for it. Yeah.
Okay.
And I would say that even though it's a challenge, it has also taught me how to multitask.
Okay.
Because when I was introducing myself, I said I'm the webmaster and Facebook administrator of the European Association of Fish Pathologists.
Right.
And that is not paid for.
Right.
My boss said, "Oh, Jacob, this is something interesting. You can do it. And if you like, I'll tell them one of my employees can do it."
Right.
And that is not paid for, but I do it alongside my job.
Yeah.
So the same way I was doing SWAL alongside school, I try to make it work. I just dedicate specific days of the week to do some of the tasks that I'm supposed to do.
Okay.
So volunteering or taking up the challenge that my boss said was not difficult. It was not a difficult decision to make because I was volunteering in SWAL without being paid, and I know the benefits that I could get from serving other people. Yeah. Especially the experiences that I gained from SWAL. I knew that this was not something to embark on just without learning anything. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We thank God for that.
And just to add up, the SWAL experience helped in working as a webmaster. Right. Because basically what I do is that the board of the group sends me newsletters to send to their members. Right.
And you had members in SWAL that you assigned to?
And I have members in SWAL that have been assigned to check up on So it was a bit related, and there's a Facebook group to manage, and one way or the other, I manage the SWAL Facebook group, even though it's not on a regular basis.
So it's like transferable skills from SWAL to the various things that you do now. That's impressive. Okay. Can you tell SWALians who you think Peace Amewo is, what you've learned from me as a person or as a founder?
You know, what I've learned from you is more from a leadership point of view.
Okay.
You've taught me that if you are working with someone and they are your leader, you have to be submissive to them.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm saying this because, for instance, on the coordinating group, maybe you have an idea you want to embark on, but then you need inputs. So all of us can come up with our inputs, but at the end of the day, you will synthesize it. And because you are the vision bearer and you know the direction that the vision is supposed to go, you synthesize it and make sure that it doesn't deviate from the ultimate goal of the vision. And in the beginning, that is something that most people don't understand. Because the impression I got was they feel you always disagree with what they say. But one way or the other, by grace, I understood that part of you.
Okay.
And it's not only understanding that part of you, but I've transferred that understanding to wherever I work.
Right.
And if I have to work under someone, I can suggest. I don't expect them to take it. Because I feel they are the leader and they know the direction. And it has helped a lot. It's helped me in every aspect, whether at church, school, or even where I am now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know.
Because on the EAFP, the European Association website, I can suggest changes that, we could do this way on the website, but the president can say, I think we should delete it. And he knows why. So
you don't go about fighting it.
No.
Okay.
I can disagree, but I will not be persistent because I feel once the person is the vision bearer, they understand the vision more. And I'm only helping to propel it in the direction, to steer it in the direction they want to go.
That's impressive.
That is wisdom to the coordinators and also to the members.
Okay.
So one other thing you don't know is that publicly you see her to be very strict, but she's always fun to be with. Once you do the right thing.
You do the right thing, you go on my right side.
So you appreciate people for what they do. That is also one thing. But in the public view, they see you to be very strict, but you also have a soft spot for people. You care for people. You take people's issues seriously.
Right.
Because when somebody has an issue, and I think this welfare part of you translated into why we have welfare coordinators or coordinators to check up on members who have been off for long.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
I've forgotten the response.
When I say welcome, it's like welcome. Then you can say tak or vasheku.
Tak. Vasheku. So now that you are married, are you thinking of dropping your role as a head coordinator? Because you're no longer single, so you can easily say, well, let me just leave the singles behind and go.
To be honest, there is something I want to achieve before I hand over.
Right.
I have so much experience serving this role for years. I don't want the institutional memory lost.
Right.
So I want that institutional memory some way, somehow kept.
Okay.
So those who might try to decipher will understand. So the institutional memory,
leave your legacy
that I have gathered, I want to,
Okay.
That is all.
I personally think or believe from a spiritual standpoint that your time is not up to leave. Because a few times you've looked at your availability and you are like, oh, I don't think I'm being effective anymore. I think I'm discouraging the coordinators because I'm not here, blah, blah, blah.
That is true.
And I kept telling you, if you feel peace, that this is the right time, I'm willing to release you. If at any point you feel like, this is the time, I think I'm now 100% confident that my work in SWAL is over, you'll be released. No matter how it happens, you'll be released. I'm 100% happy with the work you've done so far. So what's your final message to Swalians or any single or even couples that are watching us?
I would say that whatever you do each day of your life matters, and wherever you find yourself matters. Whether you are working there or you are engaged one way or the other, you don't always have to do something that pays you big. You should try to manage your expectations and see opportunities as one that could empower you and one that could prepare you for something big or prepare you for the future. And talking of that, it is also very important that you make quality use of time, because in our educational system, nobody is going to teach you how to prepare for marriage. And in that vein, if you want to lean towards somewhere to prepare yourself, you have to look up to SWAL. If you have followed us through this session or this episode of Spotlight, you can testify with me that I have gained a lot over the years. And as a single and having to deal with all the pressures in the world, finding yourself in this kind of environment, try to dilute some of the negative things that you'll be hearing outside, because there's always a counter effect. You hear something, but then it's like SWAL is a parent. You hear something outside, then when you come to SWAL, they say no, biblically this is how it's supposed to be done. So the core of the vision is to make use of biblical principles, and this is some of the things that could ultimately propel you to living effectively, not only on this earth, but to prepare you well to meet our Maker after we have fulfilled our purpose.
Well said. I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you. I mean, the journey from that 21 years up to now, it's just been the hand of God steering. All of us. You've learned a lot as well. We also learned a lot from you. We've benefited a lot from you. There was a time that I was so scared I couldn't go off WhatsApp without worrying what is going to go wrong, because I didn't know if the coordinators had that ability to show initiative. It's like they're always waiting for one instruction or the other before the action, and it was a worry. But when you took over that role of a head coordinator, I can sleep, and not worry that something will go wrong. And it has been an amazing time having you leading the coordinators, having you working hand in hand with me to make sure that the will of God for SWAL will be fulfilled. So this is me, my husband, our children, our family, saying a very big thank you to you for all the help, the support that you've given us, being an exemplary member first, then coordinator, head coordinator. It's been a blessing having you. So we've got a little token for you.
Thank you so
say
much.
Thank you for all these years. This is not a payment. This is not even enough thank you. But I believe that at the right time, we'll be able to properly honor the grace of God upon your life, which you also brought into SWAL. And we are very, very grateful. We are proud of you, all the achievements so far, all the efforts you have put into your life to make your life, with the grace of God, come to this point. We are very, very proud. And keep up the good work, and the best is ahead of you.
Thank you so much.
The best is ahead of you. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Happy 10 years anniversary to all of us and to SWALians as we trust God for the next phase of the vision. Personally, what I would like to say to the coordinators, the rest of the coordinators, is that the coordinating team is a training. It's a training process. You don't know where God is taking you.
Yeah.
This is just a phase. You are passing through SWAL. Some of you are going to be having your own ministries, running your own organizations, doing big things in life. And what you learned from SWAL is what is going to help you. So if you are lazy now, if you don't work hard, if you take things for granted and you think, oh, you are in another person's vineyard, so let me just do it the way I want. You are building an attitude, which when the time now comes for you to handle your own, you will use the same attitude. You can't do it because over the years you've trained yourself to be lazy. But if you tell yourself, I'm here to learn, I'm here to fulfill a purpose, there's a reason why God brought me into SWAL. I must discover that reason. I must serve that reason. And you take the vision seriously, eventually you'll be ready for where God is taking you. And when you get there, you'll look back and thank God for SWAL. So we thank God for how far He has brought us. And once again, thank you for gracing this show with your presence and with your knowledge. I believe that our audience has been inspired, especially SWALians. I believe you've all been inspired. And we will see you in our next episode. Thanks for watching.
Are you single or married? Do you have a life-transforming experience that can educate or inspire others? Be a guest on our talk show, Spotlight, to share your amazing life story. To be on the show or to sponsor, contact +44 7506 009931. Email peaceamewowo2018@gmail.com. Tune into Spotlight on our YouTube channel, Peace Amewowo, and on Facebook at Single and Married with a Life. Spotlight, inspiring you to do better.